What's up, YouTube? Today is Saturday, June the 1st. It's the start of a new month, and we are trending on the East Coast to a new season. Thank goodness we will get some sun on this side of town, and maybe people will start smiling a little bit more because that's really, really important. It's so good for the soul, right? So I know it's been a long time. I'm not just going to try to chime in and act like I haven't been gone for a long time, because I have, obviously. But as is the change of season, change is inevitable, right? And so with that change, I decided that I also wanted to change the name of this channel. I like to think of myself as to be much more modest and subtle and understated. And in that spirit, that means it's time for me to back up, because it's not about me. This channel, I want it to be about the content and what I share with you guys, because I do try to take my time to get good content, quality content, not just to just jump at you with a bunch of opinions, because we all have them. That's okay. But just to come with a different perspective for the most part. And I want this channel to be about the content and not about me. And so having said that, hence the name Pop Analysis, right? So it does not mean that I'm going to be here analyzing pop culture. That's not what I'm going to be doing. Pop analysis actually refers to more so exactly what the word says, which is pop analysis, which is me popping on the screen from time to time and giving you some analysis. So that's what pop analysis is all about. It's still going to be me on here as I continue to grow. My hopes is that I will continue to grow this channel and my following and my people. So having said that, this was an amazing week for me, but we also know it was a very, very, should I say, an interesting week in the media, right? To be very subtle about it. But I am going to be talking to you today about Robert Mueller's statement. We all know that Robert Mueller came out and made a statement to the press. It was about a 9-minute press conference. That's the amount of time that he also spent on the stage. You also know that he did not leave himself open for questions where anybody could further question any of the things that he said. He also at that time made it known that the special counsel office was retiring, and that he was going to go back to private life. No further questions. Everybody could refer to the report for any questions they had, and also signaling that he's not going to answer any further questions on the report to Congress. That's a summary. So me, of course, in trying to analyze his statement, which was, again, very short, but he did obviously note some key things in the statement. And in the process of his advocacy for certain things also, if you paid attention to the language. Now, I have to say, for the past couple of days, I have been listening to different media outlets analyze the report, actually analyze that speech, and also different YouTubers talk about several things. Mostly, no obstruction, no collusion, nothing different. That's pretty much, for the most part, what Rob Mueller said. So nothing different. But just to bring you back into some of the things that I picked up in this speech was, of course, he opened it up talking about links in coordination with the Russian government and the Trump campaign. He also mentioned, beyond his remarks, the written report speaks for itself. So again, what was the point of him even making these remarks? If the written report speaks for itself, then let it continue to speak. That's what it's been doing. My thoughts is obviously with this speech, as I continue to go on, just to state, Robert Mueller threw fire to the flame. It's like he was just out wagging a piece of meat at some ravaged, crazy, demonic dogs. Okay, because this is unfortunately what these people are starting to really remind you of because of their thirst. So anyway, he also goes on to say that the Russians use sophisticated techniques to hack into computers used by the Clinton campaign. So again, the Russians hacked the Clinton campaign, which we do not have proof of that. That still has not been put out there. We also know that CrowdStrike, the private entity, is supposed to be the ones who actually said that this hack actually took place. Remember, the servers were never given to the FBI for them to investigate. So there's that point there. So the other thing is, he also talked about, it's like he threw shade on Trump. He threw shade on Julian Assange in this speech, because he also goes to say that, they stole this private information, then released that information through fake online identities, also funneled it to WikiLeaks. So he tied in WikiLeaks in that as well. And as you all know, Julian Assange right now has been indicted. And the indictment actually came from the Sweden government. They're retrying him for the so-called sexual assault claim. The reason why, he was actually brought in recently. So that's, this is allegedly what's supposed to have went on. So he brought up WikiLeaks. He also says that they were designed, these hacks were designed to damage a presidential candidate. I think everybody knew that Hillary Clinton was damaged goods before 2016. I don't know why anyone would think otherwise, other than you haven't really been paying attention. The majority of her misconduct is on public record, and everyone knows about it. So if you didn't, check the public record. It's there. So I think that was a bunch of garbage. He also talked about Russians posing as Americans in social media to influence an election. How? I can pose as anyone to influence what? What is that really going to do? I think it's such a weak, ridiculous charge. And if you've seen any of the social media ads that were allegedly used, they were ridiculous. I think they spent less than $100,000 or something. Like, the claim is so bogus, it's so ridiculous. It's just such a weak case and such a waste of time and effort. But of course, this is what we are supposed to be concerned about. And I think it's really annoying talking about the interference. No machines were hacked. No Russians took machines and changed votes to go for Donald Trump over Hillary Clinton. So I wish they would stop saying they interfered in our election. They interfered how? By some Facebook ads? That's insane. All right. So we know this. I'm just beating the dead horse by now. Just going through some of the subjects, and I promise I'm going to get to it just a little bit more clear as to what, to me, Mueller was saying, right? So he went on to say that every defendant is presumed innocent unless and unto proven guilty. As we know, remember, Trump wasn't the subject. He was not supposed to be the subject of this investigation, right? So he said there was insufficient evidence to charge the broader conspiracy. He infamously said, if we had confidence that the president clearly did not commit a crime, we would have said so. But you also did not list the crime that you insinuate that maybe that he did actually commit. So which is it? We did not make a determination to whether the president did commit a crime. Oh, they couldn't determine it. So there's all this wishy-washy. There's no declaration of innocence or guilt. And this is classic, the way that the left operates in confusion. And you know what they say about confusion, right? Confusion is the seed or a seed of the devil, right? So we couldn't make a determination whether he committed a crime or not. We don't know. But we also couldn't clear him of a crime, which is ridiculous. It's insane that a seasoned prosecutor was set up there and that he's basically saying he couldn't come to a conclusion. No, the conclusion is then you're innocent. Because if there's no conclusion of guilt, then you're innocent. That's it. As simple as that. So he pivoted under to that whole long-standing department policy, right? That a president cannot be charged with a federal crime while he's in office. It is unconstitutional, Mueller says, and even if the charge is kept under seal and hidden from the public, that too is prohibited. Special counsel's office is part of the DOJ, and by regulation, it was bound by that department policy. Charging the president with a crime was not an option we could consider. Then again, why did we ever start this in the first place? You're saying that no matter what, we can't indict the president, so it's a waste of time to go to court and go through the motions for what? When he also said 3 times on separate occasion to Attorney General Barr that this decision did not have any governing on or as to why they were unable to come to a conclusion on this, on whether the president actually committed a crime or not, or whether there was obstruction of justice, right? Okay, so he goes on to say there was some advocacy. You know, we all know that he was talking about a process, right? The Constitution requires a process other than the criminal justice system to formally accuse a sitting president. And you notice sometimes if you really watch the body language of Mueller, I mean, he had this trembling voice and he wasn't giving a lot of eye contact, which means that obviously he's probably being untruthful, and he couldn't look people in the face. But there was times when he said certain statements, but then he would raise his head up and he would look ahead. And this was one of them, where he talked about the Constitution requires a process other than the criminal justice system to formally accuse a sitting president of wrongdoing. Beyond department policy, he goes on to say how hypocritical. We were guided by our principles of fairness. He sounds like Comey then. Like, I mean, these people with this, they're so holier than thou. It would be unfair, he says, to potentially accuse someone of a crime when there can be no court resolution, as I was saying earlier, of the actual charge. So that was the Justice Department policy. He said that was the Justice Department policy. Those were the principles under which we operated, and from them, we determined that we would not reach a determination one way or another about whether the president committed a crime. So for me, that was the Justice Department. Those were them. So are we saying that we need to change the laws, or we need to change policy at the Justice Department? Because if the policies were different, you would have been able to obviously charge the president with a crime. So at the same time, it sounds like he's calling, it's an advocacy call to change these the Department of Justice policy. So that's what I read with that, obviously. He went on to say the report is my testimony and I won't go beyond this publicly. He's not going to go to Congress to testify. We all know that he's scared of Matt Gaetz, the likings of Lindsey Graham or Jim Jordan, Chuck Grassley, some of the big, strong people. I'd even go and say, who's the congressman or senator from California, Devin Nunes. He's concerned about those people asking him, obviously, those challenging questions and about all the conflict that pretty much went on when he was actually conducting this investigation. The fact that he decided that he wasn't going to take any questions, no one's going to be able to follow up with anything that he said, shows just how cowardice he is. I mean, you make a statement and then you just go, that's it, and he's just, I'm out of here. So I thought that was horrific. It was terrible that he did that. But even more, enough of Rob Mueller. His time in the light is gone. So now it's busy, pretty much his clapback time, as I like to call it. If you ever listen to some of the statements that Trump has made when it comes down to Robert Mueller, you would know that plenty of times in the past, he spoke about him being conflicted. And Trump, as much flack as they give him, and we know that he wears his heart on his sleeve, he talks and says things and just goes for the jugular. He doesn't care. That's just the way that he operates. So you do got to love his passion. But if you saw the last 2 minutes, there was a 2-minute in the clip. It'll be embedded here. And I thought this was like the most amazing, I call it political clapback, that at least I have seen. So they did a quick interview of Trump. This was a 2-minute interview, not too long after Mueller made his statement. They asked him about Robert Mueller's statements, and he said, I think he's totally conflicted. Just for the record, conflicted, of course, opening up, we know that Robert Mueller had conflicts of interest, right? He actually had a business dealing. Trump put that on blast. So in case you didn't know that, or the people who've been brainwashed about this whole thing, they had a bad business dealing. Things didn't work out and didn't go in his favor. And how that was a conflict of interest. He also went into talking about and also shaming him, putting him on blast, saying that, he applied for the FBI director job. And then the next day, a day later, all of a sudden now he was appointed as a special counsel. And he never recused himself, which that's something that he should have did. And there's all this talk about recusal and all these ridiculous statements from the left, but no one cared about these things. So, Trump, just jab back, and you gotta love that. And I think he is his best spokesperson. I think people feel, and his supporters, like I feel like, that he's not just gonna lay down. He does push back. He's not gonna allow you to control the narrative. He speaks quickly and he responds, and I appreciate that. He's not a coward, right? No one wants to follow a coward. We love bravado. We love people who fight back. We don't want anyone who's, like a snowflake or anything, or anybody who's going to bow down the way Bernie Sanders did back in 2016. I am going to be doing a follow-up video. In my follow-up video, I'm going to be discussing 2020 candidates and the DNC and the shenanigans that they are already engaging in right now. So I just want to say, this is MAGA country, right? And here's my little bobblehead to prove it. If you look closely, this is my, it's the slogan for 2020, which is Keep America Great Again, right? Can you see it? Keep America Great Again. I got this downtown Manhattan. They had buy one, get a second at a discounted price, but the second one, I wanted to get 2 of them so I can give this as a gift, but I only got 1. So just wanted to say he's coming back. Poll numbers are doing well. And I think if they really, really want to go on the impeachment front for 2020, it's going to be a slaughterhouse. So go ahead if you want to. I think he's welcoming it. I think he's ready. And it's going to be interesting to watch in the next few days. There's going to be a lot of things revealed through transparent efforts, obviously, of the president and the people around him. And I'm excited. I feel encouraged. And I think all you guys who love and support the president, you should feel that way as well. Aside from that, guys, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'm looking forward to seeing you again. Thanks for tuning in. As always, like, subscribe, share if you appreciate this content, and engage me. Tell me what you think. All right? This is POPANALYSIS signing out. Bye.